You are looking at a 2008 GMC Sierra 2500 HD 4x4 6-liter with a 6-speed transmission. I bought this truck to work with the truck camper that's in the other garage there so that the two of them could, I bought this truck, and I'm going to admit, because it was the same color as my camper. Right? That's a really bad excuse, but it is the same color as the camper, and it's a 4x4, and it's a 2500, and it has a 6-liter gas engine, and all the other good things that I was looking for in a truck. And it was pretty cheap. But this cheap truck has turned into quite a bit of an expense as I've gone through to not only fix things that I know are wrong with it, but try to do some preventative maintenance and replace and upgrade some other items to avoid trouble when we're out having fun. In this video, it took place over a couple of weeks. We're going to go back in time in just a moment and start looking at some of the items. I lost a beautiful piece of video just today. Camera wasn't set up right and I lost something. Sorry about that. But overall, so far it's been a pretty decent project. I've only lost my mind and my temper about 17 times, so that's not bad. But anyway, come on along, enjoy the ride. Is a 2008 Sierra 2500 SLE. The weight reduction rust work over the fender, no extra charge. Picked that up yesterday. It's got pretty fresh tires on it, 6-liter. It's not full-time 4x4, but it's 4-wheel high, 4-wheel low, and 2-wheel drive. 4-door truck. It's a 6.5-foot bed. 8 would have been better. This will work. So had other plans right off the bat for the camper, but it's turning out so nice that I wanted to be able to slip it into a different type of truck and be able to run a lot faster with it. Ironically, this old monster here, filthy dirty, it's going to need a lot of work all in itself, is essentially the same color as the camper. I mean, what's the chances of that? So we were just talking about maybe getting a 25 or 3500 truck and something that would match up, something cheap, and went out as the first one that I saw. So $6,500. Got some dents and dings, got a lot of miles, but this will haul the camper like a pro and give me something else to waste my time fixing. Gonna get you in here with me. Pulled the boots off the plug wires. Spark plugs, I don't have to do that for this. I don't have to take spark plugs out either, but wow. But this thing has more mileage on it than there are miles of roads in the entire of all Alaska, and then some. So might as well, boy oh boy, might as well get in here and take these spark plugs out, take a look at them, do some PV, preventative maintenance on it. And you can see that, you probably can't see it, but that bolt is missing its head right there. Pretty typical of these things. That's manifold out, and I can see, it's obviously leaking all over the place. And let me move this out of the way. And now I'm gonna get down in here, and there's looks like remnant of a gasket there, and there, hopefully you can see that. That's the front stud that's broken. I say stud, bolt right there, and then the rear one also broken. So I'm gonna get some vice grips on that, see if I can get that to turn out. And if so, that is almost half the battle. Well, bad news for me. I was hoping that I was just going to unscrew that, and unfortunately, and it's really bizarre, both the front and the rear bolt are broken. They were broken. They just came out, but they had snapped
And I'm going to have to, obviously I'm going to have to easy out, do something. The trouble is back there, there's no room back here to get tools in there. So I'm going to have to improvise on that. But right now the big issue is, you know, if I can have success on this front bolt, at least that's a start. And go from there. But yeah, it just popped off right there without any effort at all. I guarantee same thing we're going to find on that side, which is, I think, harder to get to things. So anyway, back to it. I'll go look for an easy out and the right size drill, and then try to figure out how the heck I'm going to get in here and do that. So here's the plan. Just went over to Napa, picked up some gaskets and stuff and some manifold bolts. These came with the truck. These are actually a stud kit, which would be okay. I may still use that, but they only have 4 of them. But it makes sense because the 4 they have of the size are for the 4 that are broken. Anyway, I got to go in at a 90 degree to get this extractor in there. Requires a 9/64 drill bit. Don't have a lot of room, so I got my 90 degree adapter. And I also picked up the Napa carries Craftsman stuff. They had the kit that's made to go into the whatever the quarter drive, and had my 9/64. And what I did is I cut the bottom of it off because we just don't have any room to play around in there. So with that, it sinks all the way in, and hopefully I can get in. So I'm going to have to punch it and then center punch it, and then see if I can go ahead and get this to work. Last time I left you, I had my handy 90 degree drill and bits and custom pieces, and now I'm taking the grill off. Didn't work, and there's no way that I'm going to be able to do that kind of surgery on it in that pocket down there. I'm sure there's people watching this that have and can. It's not. And my thinking was that as soon as I got the easy out into that stud, that it was just gonna come out. It's not. So look here, I don't know this truck very well. I've only had it a week. I've driven it probably 60 miles. I don't think I've driven it that far. And I'm just gonna pull the engine out and go from there. This is what happens when you buy a 2008 GMC Sierra 2500 HD with a lot of miles on it for $6,500 to haul your truck camper that you're busy building and getting darn close to making it usable. And it has an exhaust leak. And you say, I'm going to drill out the exhaust manifold studs that are broken and fix it. And you actually start trying to do that, and you find out that you failed, and then this is your life. So in another few hours, that engine's going to be out where I can actually get to it, and the 4 exhaust manifold studs will be replaced, and I'll do a few other things while I'm in there. But anyway, I'm an idiot. Okay, I think I'm going to do a tack like this, and then I'll try to put my goggles on. Okay. And my headset is right here. Okay. Which size is that? Do the right thing. Do the right thing.
Do you want to take your ground strap off?
Do the right thing. Come on, sweetheart. Okay, your boy. Come on, tough guy. Come on. Come on, tough guy. Come on, just keep coming. We'll move it while it's hot. Of course, I don't. Oh, that metal shield's still covering the pipe, right? In case this just flies off.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. If this comes out, I think I'm going to turn everything off, and I'm going to go walk the dogs, and I'm going to feel good. I'm going to sleep better tonight. Well, I probably should go down to Napa and start an order of $1 gazillion for all the wearable pipes and tubes and stuff, right? Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Alright. Oh, something was hot. Oh, my wrench itself is awful hot. Okay. Okay.
What's a happy face look like?
That's what. Look at that. Okay.
So what'd you do?
It's right at freezing. Gonna wait just a little bit longer to bring the pressure washer out. This is what we got going on. Lots of soap scrubbies. Gonna let that just soak in, kind of break up some of that grease. And gonna go get something for lunch, come back, and see if we can blast this all clean. And I pressure washed it with hot water. I use the maximum pressure and the general tip. Maximum pressure, I think I did some damage to my wire harness loom. I'm gonna have to tape all that back up. So switch back over to the general pressure. Got the differential pretty cleaned up. These frames have like a wax coating from the factory, and it blasted a lot of that off. These hoses are getting replaced, but I left them on here so that this stays sealed up. So it's no big deal. I didn't really clean them because I'm throwing those away. But I think, let's see, computer is dry in there. Hopefully all the other harnesses and pieces are dry. And Now let's sit out here and dry a little bit, clean up the driveway, and then get it inside so we can start painting. This is what Derek at Vice Grip Garage calls a Craigslist rebuild. The old so looking like kind of fresh and new here. Got the frame all done up to the point that I can deal with right now, and I'll deal with that when I take the bed off. So there you go, looking like a proper McDonald McSpeed truck. That's what we're after. The issue that I'm having is our dipstick. Our dipstick is broken off in a block. That's me doing that, and it was rusty. It was rusty right here. Oops. Rusty there in the bend. And so now we have this stub. I'm trying to clear a room so you can see what I'm doing. Now I have this stub of a stick here, and I've seen a bunch of techniques for removing this. The whole engine, by the way, is sitting on a block of wood, so it's shaking and baking. Anyway, what I'm going to try and do is put a vice grip on here, maybe apply some heat down here. Be very careful because this is a let's see, I guess that's the crank sensor. This is a knock sensor right here. So I got to be careful of that I don't screw him up. But I'm going to see if I can vice grip this thing out. Yeah, I'm going to start out with just kind of a cold. I'm going to start out with some cold twisting on it. See if that does any good. That was odd. Okay, yeah, it's doesn't want to come out like that. See if I can get some heat in there without catching all this fresh paint on fire. Yeah, that's gonna. I don't like what that's doing to my knock sensor. So, I meant to do this before I painted, and I just got ahead of myself. Here we go. Can I see better now? Good gracious. Alright, well this isn't doing good here. Dark spot you're seeing here, this is just a tubing cutter, tubing wrench, and much as I hate to make it even shorter than it is, I think I'm going to need to do this to create an extraction tool. So we just have to let the cutter do its thing. There you go. All right, nice clean break. Okay, so plan 17.2. So far, not going so well. What I'm going to try to do is tap this out to a 3/8 thread. See if you can see me in here. I'm working right down here. I'm trying to tap this out to 3/8 thread. That daub of grease on there is to try to catch rogue metal shavings from enjoining the dipstick tube. Plans 1 through 16, 17, and 17.1 obviously all failed. All right, the
mistake was trying to cut threads in that other one. So that's going to go down and bite. That's good news. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to drop this on. I'm going to put this nut on. Oh, crap. Crap's a technical term for when things go crappy. Okay, and then now thought I brought 9/16 in here with me, but I only brought one. Thought I brought two. I have to go get my wrenches. In theory, I should be able to start tightening that nut in a minute and pull it apart. The 14mm will do just fine. I'm not going for the Johnny Precision Award right now. Man, this is a tight spot to work in here. Come on, there you go. Go when you're home. Well, crap, I guess 9/16. I need to go grab a 9/16 wrench, so I have two. Well, actually, I've got the universal wrench over here. Grab that in a second. Let's first make sure this is on pretty tight. We need all the pulling power it can generate down on that tube. Man, this is just a tight fit. Everything's in the way, and yet everything's been moved out of the way. I think I'm starting to get kind of tight. Okay, now I should be able to tighten against this. This should act as a puller. Come on, baby. Do your thing. I'm doing this right? If I tighten this, it should be pushing against the block. Yeah. Hitting everything in here. Is this as boring for you as it is for me? How about I sing to you? I'll sing to you while I'm doing it. It's a good song. Turn, turn, turn your nut gently down the bolt. Merrily, 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 merrily. That song stinks. Where'd it go? I heard it. Right there. Something just happened. Success, success, success. Awesome success. So on the dipstick, I was able to order a genuine Generous Motors part number 12563918. I think it's the right one. This was very reasonably priced and pretty readily available. Shipped right here to my door. Has the O-ring tip on the end, and this is the area that just gets jam-a-lammed up inside your engine block. I suspect over time the corrosion and stuff gets down in here and it just sticks all that up. So I'm going to finish getting this thing unpackaged and then get it slipped in over here. Let me just share where we are at this moment with Project Stinky, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. GMC Sierra. What you're looking at here, parts, intake manifold, motor mounts, exhaust manifolds, brackets for the accessories, AC O-rings, orifice tube for the air conditioning, water pump from Generous Motors, transmission cooler line, that's a Generous Motors part as well, oil cooler, intake manifold gaskets, stuff in there. Here, radiator hoses, belts, heavy-duty green ones, power steering lines, hoses, things. There's stuff. There's an AC compressor in there. There's a dryer. Ooh, in here, I think the dryer for the air conditioning's in here. The original coil packs, the cleaned up little things that go on the spark plugs right here. I have in there boxes of new plug wires, plugs. Oh, we've got extra gaskets if we need it. I've got the electric dielectric grease for the connectors. That's camper stuff. Remember the camper? If you're watching my channel, that's still in progress. Let's come over here and take a look at what's going on. Here I have a Generous Motors AC condenser. I tried to wash that one out. I'm not joking you. Go ahead, laugh at me. I took that in the shower with me. Yeah, I did. To try to do something because it's freezing outside and kind of hard just to run a garden hose out there. So filthy, unbelievable. I stopped. Really bad idea. Radiator right here. Same reason. Radiator is a mess, just full of dirt. This is after I hosed it and cleaned it. Look at that. Headlights. I hated to buy new headlights, but these right here, I needed the bracket that goes on the bottom that's commonly snapped and broken off when people don't know what they're doing, like me, and they're taking their front end apart. The brackets, I'm not able to find them right now. That would have been obviously way cheaper, and I can take the bracket off of that made in China headlight and transfer it to my originals, which I may do, I'm not sure. That headlight set was $123 for the pair, and the brackets originally were like $45, $50 a piece. So, you know, for a little bit more money, I got headlights. Let's go in here. There is a box right there full of stuff, plugs, plug wires. That was in the beginning when I thought all I was going to have to do was get the exhaust manifold bolts out and put it back together and tune it up. The Camaro workbench is just there at the moment. It's not doing anything specific other than holding things. I got the cooling fan hiding down there. I've got a new shock absorber. What do you call that? Dampener for the steering. I found out when I was cleaning up, the old one has a dent right there. That can't be good. So that's going away. More parts. There's the original water pump. I cleaned up the alternator. Oh no, there's the dryer. Here's my new receiver dryer for the air conditioning. The battery right there. The old idler pulley and stuff and things. Here's my nurse's station with all the doctor's tools ready to go, right? Most important one is my big friendly hammer. I may need to get that out here shortly. Whoa! So then the truck. Here's the new rebuilt power steering pump. Remember some of these lines and hoses, these are going to be coming off. I just left them there so water didn't get into things while I was cleaning it. We've removed the dipstick, so that's ready to go in. I'm really at a point now, I'm going to not bore you guys with a video of how to put everything back in, because I really didn't take any video taking it all out. Because I really thought all I was going to do is take the bolts out of the heads that were broken. So anyway, hey, it is a plug-in hybrid though, in case you were curious. This was a special model back in 2008, and when it's really cold outside, you plug it in. That's what kind of hybrid it is. Got a heater on the block. So I'm going to tap the threads. I think those are 8mm by 1 point something. I'm going to tap all the bolts, just run a tap through the exhaust manifold bolts holes, lube them up, make sure everything's good, and really start putting it together. The big issue I have right down here, the motor mounts are out. That gives me access for these cooler lines for the transmission and the radiator, the transmission and the engine cooler. I can snake those through and then just start putting it together. Something else I didn't spend time elaborating on is the fact that one of my bolts down here that the motor mounts go in snapped when I was taking it off, and I had to come back and give it a little gentle heat, and it came out. So there you go. Enjoy my madness. We'll get all this done, put back together. Oh yeah, and on the intake manifold here, I need to clean. I haven't done it yet. I need to clean the throttle body. We had taped all this off because it got a generous psst, psst with a pressure washer. And it's amazing. It really came out looking nice. Oh yeah, did I already mention I have new intake gaskets here somewhere? Maybe I did. So that's it. There's the old AC compressor back there. And I don't know if it worked or not. I don't know. The belt was off. So I don't know, but it turned. And it turns. See here? It turns. It didn't, for all I know, it's fine. But I don't know. And it's buried so far down there. I don't want to put this all together. I was able to get a new one, a General Motors AC Delco compressor. I got it for like $180. It's $180 I didn't want to spend, but it's cheap insurance if that one's bad, and the belt was off for a reason, I'm sure. So yeah, there we go. Hang on. Oh, thermostat somewhere in here. Oh, there's my starter. So yeah, we got crap everywhere. And if you're noticing this, how about that? Yeah, that's what happens when your dog runs into you at full speed when there's ice on the ground and he can't stop when he's approaching you. It's that's what his knucklehead will do to my knucklehead. Anyway, that's it. Let's start putting this thing back together, finally. Let's just bring in here. This is all I'm doing. I'm running the tap, cleaning up, making sure these threads are going to be absolutely loving and receiving their new bolts. I did get a Felpro brand bolt set for it on top of the many other parts coming that have come. So anyway, really just a matter of tapping this in. It's an 8 by 1.25 and just letting it go in nice and easy. Hey, don't come a knocking if the 6 liters rocking. All right, that was bad. How about this? No, I'm gonna stop right there. Anyway, just cleaning up these threads, and it's gonna take me some time. What else could I be doing? Playing golf? Yeah, whatever. Gentlemen only, ladies forbidden, whatever. Isn't that what golf stands for? All right, quit fooling around. Don't sneak up on me, and let me have some time to get this thing threaded out, and then we're gonna go from there. So here's something else. This is the new Dorman OE Solutions replacement exhaust manifold. And here's the old Munchkin that was on it. So, I mean, they're super identical. I don't know how they get away with making aftermarket parts that are so similar to OE. Then again, I don't know that this is original. This may have very well been replaced 100,000 miles ago. But anyway, we're going to turn this into recycled material and go with a new one. Pretty sure the other one, we'll get it out in a minute and see when I get over there, but I think the other manifold's actually cracked right here. So there's a gasket ring. I'll show you. Left and right are different. If you look back there, you'll see a silver ring on that exhaust pipe. That is the gasket seal on the driver's side. The passenger side gets a kind of a more traditional donut type. But anyway, gonna go ahead and get this thing slammed in. I bet you this is gonna burn and smell and stink. It's got oil on it right now, keeping the rust off of it. This thing's gonna look like a fire when it first gets up to temperature, I'm sure. But anyway, we'll go ahead and get it in. It came with new studs and gaskets. So it did not come with exhaust manifold bolts. I was able to buy those new separately at Napa. Well, the other day, actually last weekend, when I took it outside and pressure washed the snot out of it, I had to try to seal the intake back up because obviously we don't want to fill this with high pressure water. Unfortunately, this Gorilla Tape, I think it is, it's good stuff, but had this happen down on the head on the exhaust side, the adhesive really stuck around, you know what I mean? So trying to get that cleaned out. The instructions from the Generous Motors that they sent here tells me that this compressor comes preloaded with 1.4 ounces of the appropriate oil. The instruction here is to drain that one out and determine if the sum of the oil drained from the removed compressor and the amount of oil removed during refrigerant recovery is, well, we really didn't have a recovery. Anyway, if it's less than 1.4 ounces, no balancing is required. Install the replacement compressor as is. If more than 1.4 ounces comes out of everything, then we're going to do some math. Math is hard. And then we're going to balance it out. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do the right thing here. I'm going to go ahead and install it just like this right now. So it's in place, bolted in, clean, and I haven't disturbed that. I have to have these bolts right here anyway for the new, yes, I'm replacing these two, for the new hoses. So I'm going to do the measuring job after I get all this thing opened up. and then I'll do whatever balancing necessary before I put the new lines on, because I'll have access to them. So that's it. Easy peasy. I also have a new dryer, and I think I just told you I have new hoses, and I have something called an orifice tube. I have to put the orifice tube in. I think I know where this goes in the system, but I don't at the moment. I've never serviced one of these trucks like this. So here we go. So water pumps are known issues on these motors, and my buddy Tom, you're out there, you know who I'm talking about, says, hey, I got 400,000 miles on my truck and I've been through 2 water pumps. This truck has almost 300,000. It's due. So shopped around, and I was actually able to pick up this AC Delco one, bought it through a GM parts distributor on Amazon for less than I could get an aftermarket pump. So this is a part of the job I've been, well, shall I say, not looking forward to. Power steering pump. Quick trivia, information, etc. I think it's how the History Channel gets away with showing shows that have nothing to do really with history as much as entertainment by telling you some history. Well, I don't know the history on Hydro Boost systems. I just know they've been around a long time. But here's the technical behind it for those that don't know. On a vehicle with a Hydro Boost, my Humvee also has this. A lot of 3/4 ton, 1 ton trucks have these. We actually did modifications putting these on our Corvettes for a while because of their compact design and their incredible amount of power. But they use a lot of power driving off the power steering pump. So what happens here is the power steering pump does the normal thing to provide pressure in the steering gear to give you the, you know, Leisure Suit Larry driving capabilities. You just, a truck of this weight, size of tires, etc., would be virtually impossible to steer without power assist. But it takes it one step further, and it flows that same power steering fluid through your brakes. So it's the one time when your brakes also use power steering fluid. Anyway, these things are just miserable to get to. We're going to be putting the pulley on in a little bit as well. We'll talk about that when I start doing it. But the old one was really filthy. Everything in here was coated in 1/4 inch of grease. It was shiny. It wasn't dripping on the ground, but it was shiny. And I don't know exactly the suspect, but I think the old power steering pump housing was leaking. In any event, we're going to step in here and do this. I've kind of got things loosely attached up here so they can pivot and swing on the new lines. And I'm going to just kind of hang this in place and start this next procedure. Well, this is probably inappropriate to say, but I'm convinced the genius that invented this press-fit system for power steering pulleys was probably one of those young people that would torture dogs and cats in the neighborhood and, you know, things like that. And probably his dad sat him down and said, look, you have kind of 2 choices. You can become an engineer and invent things that cause great torture, pain, and discomfort to people, or you can be a mass murderer. You know, one of the 2. And I think we know the answer to that, because here we have this. So that's on now, I believe, I think. That's the thing about these. You never really know if it's on. And like a dum-dum, I didn't take a measurement between the bracket and the pulley before I took it apart. So it's bottomed out. I can't crank that thing anymore. I just can't crank it anymore. So we're going to call that installed. But it's gonna make me wonder, you know, if it's all the way on or not. Now, I don't think it'll come off, but it might chew my belt. That wouldn't be good. Anyway, whoever you are, I apologize if, you know, I offended you that invented this type of slip fit thing, but you know, there's other ways to do this, fellas. There's other ways to do it. There's a key way, you know, a key and a, you know, a nut that goes on. There are other ways to do this so that you know that you know that you know. By the way, the crankshaft's the same way on this engine. Same exact way. Press fit on that. You have to, the first bolt you put in, after you torque it, you throw it away. Does that even make sense? And then you have to put another bolt in. So anyway, that's on. I've been dreading it. There you go. About ready to put the core support back in. Checklist: AC compressor in, AC lines in, receiver dryer in, new orifice tube in. I've got the AC line capped off where it goes to the condenser, so we're safe and not getting moisture and dirt in it. These are the transmission cooler lines. They're going to just kind of sit back there for a few more moments. This wire harness here is going to have to get fished through, hopefully the right way. Power steering lines are on. That's the oil cooler. Power steering lines are on, set back in place. Wire harness up here is all plugged in. And the main fuse panel is set in with the connectors that need to be for the engine. So now we're going to squeeze this in. Stuff bolted on, computers in, wire harness, washer bottle, cooling fan, all the belts, radiator, pressure tank. I'm still missing a heater hose and a few other parts. This lower part of the fan shroud is just sitting there. I have a brand new radiator to go in. What's nice, the original radiator did not have a drain in it. It was a mess to, basically just kind of cut things open and start leaking. But that one does have a drain, which is nice. I hope I never have to use it. But anyway, gonna go ahead and set the radiator in, and then shroud, and then AC condenser, all this front assembly, my brand new cooler over here, and then I think we're gonna start doing headlamps and the bumper and stuff. So here we are, day 5,012 of the oh, you know what, let's buy a cheap truck, fix the exhaust manifolds, and haul the camper with it day, whatever. Anyhow, so started out with a trip to the Purple Moose. I've said this before in another video, and I'll tell you here. Great place in Alaska. If you're in Palmer, go get you a coffee, and they have the most amazing breakfast burritos ever. So anyhow, thank you, Purple Moose. A little hot Java to get the day going. Anyway, so this is a negative battery cable. On this truck, it goes multiple places. Hopefully this is going to work. I think, let's see, I don't know. We'll find out. But 60 some odd bucks for this piece of garbage, and I probably could have made one for a whole lot cheaper. But in any event, that's the world I'm in right now. I want to go ahead and put this on before I get a whole lot further. And the deal is, today's the day that I hope to hear it run. And then, of course, interestingly, as soon as I hear it run, I'm probably going to turn it around in here, take the bed off, and start blasting and prepping the back frame, drop the fuel tank, all that kind of thing, and get all that painted and cleaned up, because it's really disgusting back there. So anyway, all right, well, here we go. We'll try to get this stuff in and go from there. Well, unlike other YouTube channels that probably fake an awful lot of what they do, and then pretend they don't, I'll just come right out and tell you that, yeah, I was going to try to fake you out and act like I started it for the first time and it was perfect and everything. And then that way, after I actually did start it and deal with it, then it'd make me look amazing. But no, yes, whatever. I tried. I failed. I started it, and we got an exhaust leak right away. And this is actually a leak that we didn't have before. It's coming from here, and this uses a ring in here. I used the cheaper one, if there is such a thing, that came with the manifolds. This is a Felpro that you buy at Napa. Hopefully I can drop that pretty easily. I'm probably gonna have to loosen the other side and drop it and snake it out, and we're gonna try it again, but otherwise it was quiet. So I'll get that done and then we'll see where we are. All right, so what we're after, the ring like this is the one I just took out, and it flattened right here. It must have fallen out of the gap when I was tightening it up. So this one is a little thicker, this Felpro one. So maybe it'll play nice, and I can pull all that back up nice and easy. We are at the landfill, and this is the end of the line for the original parts. They're helping out, and I think I just closed the door on the seatbelt. So we have to go to a couple different spots out here. Well, we've got AC condenser, radiator, plastic, exhaust manifolds. Let's see, they want the cardboard in a different place from the metal, and they want the plastic and other stuff in a different place from the, that one's got some junk in it there. So anyway, yeah, here's your old exhaust manifolds. And by the way, that one is cracked. That explains a lot of that noise too. Old front inner wheel wells. Found some aftermarket replacements. See ya. Yeah, these were busted out in the back. First started taking it apart. There we go. So I'm pretty sure this stuff's going to go in the metal bin, and then I got cardboard, and we're going to be out of here. So anyway, that's it. It's running. You got to check out this view. You know what I'm saying? We got scrap metal and junk, and then look at the mountains today. Beautiful. Aren't they beautiful today? Look at the sunshine on that. Absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. The joy of what I'm getting ready to do. See if we can shed some light on the subject. So this is the rear bumper that's got to go. I've got another one coming. Believe it or not, the first one got lost in shipment. I'm sure that's normal. But anyway, as you can guess, these bumpers are not cheap at all. Even the aftermarket one's very pricey. Yeah, that's custom right there. So anyhow, I'm dealing with that. The bolts, I've been soaking things in some oil. This thing has a gooseneck, bed hitch, and I am going to have to deal with everything. This kind of rust is unfortunately normal on a Chevrolet truck unless you live in some state that just doesn't have rust issues to begin with. This is a problem. The coating they put on the bed from the factory is a wax-based coating. It's not paint. Looks like paint at first glance, but it's not. It peels off very, very easily, and then you end up with this as time goes on. So check out that dirt mound right there. I'm just going to have stuff in my eyes for days after this. You can see up inside that rail is just full of dirt. I tried to blast a lot of this with a pressure washer when I was cleaning the engine bay, but there's only so much you can do. So take a look underneath there at this nightmare. I really am not sure how we're going to deal with everything, but I have to get the bed off, and there's just lots of bolts up here that, oh my goodness, look over there where the flashlight is. That is a solid wad of dirt inside that rail. So good news is we're going to be getting all that off here before too terribly long. Bad news is I've got to get all that off of here before too terribly long. Well, so far so good until I got ahead of myself and I started taking this bed bolt out. I actually applied air pressure using the impact wrench. I should not have done that. I resorted to going and putting heat on all of them after this one, but it spun out 3 turns or so and then it broke the cage inside. So I got a jack on the spring shackle to the body of the bed to lift it just enough, since I did turn the bolt a little before it broke loose, and I'm going to try and fit the Sawzall in there and cut it off. So The joys of working on old rusty crap. Well, I'm not believing this, but I turned the camera on, walked out here, and lifted that off and flipped it on the snow berm by myself. And then I just came back to check it, and all it had done is a burst. So we missed that. A little bit of fun. But with that being said, we got the bed off. I got the bed off. And I found some bonus things. I found some barely used cigarettes and a cutting tool. You can actually hear the fuel pump back here doing its thing. What I'm going to do now though is I don't know what about that. I probably need to push that further so it doesn't slide down the hill. And then I believe I'm going to back this up over here and get ready to start pressure washing the crap out of it. So, or, you know, technically I could probably pressure wash it right here, and then it would be less distance to push the mud, because all the mud's going to run this way. That's something for me to figure out. Yeah, bed's off. How about that? It's 34 degrees and snowing just a little bit right now in Alaska, and I'm getting ready to pressure wash. Mud. Oh yeah. Well, I went ahead and pulled it back in here to start drying and hopefully not freezing. Still have to drop the fuel tank. That's going to be fun. Okay, get the back wheels off. Just gonna get in here and wire wheel, scrape, and prep, and then give this a fresh coat of paint. But we're gonna head back outside right now, because while I've got the pressure washer going, I might as well pressure wash the bed. Let's go do that. Well, it is still snowing just a little bit, and I'm gonna head up there and blast that in the snow.